Hello, 6th and 7th grade. Welcome back to social studies. So this week we're going to go over the Roman Empire begins. So now we are out of the Roman Republic and now we're into the Roman Empire. So we're just going to see how that began. So let's get here are your I can statements. So I can explain what the Pax Romana was and how it affected Rome. Describe how the Roman Empire gains and maintained power over people and territories. Explain how Rome's achievements in architecture and technology encouraged its growth. And then lastly, summarize how Rome's environment affected its growth, growing economy, and trade networks. So, the rise of the Roman Empire. So, war and diplomacy helped Rome's power and wealth grow rapidly. The Republic didn't survive the new challenges brought by its army's successes. And lastly, it was ruled by emperors, which brought peace for 2 centuries. So, that's 200 years of peace. So the first Roman emperor was Augustus. So he ruled from 62 BCE to 14 CE. So we know BC means before Common Era, and then CE is Common Era. So he founded the Roman Empire and became its first and greatest emperor. He is the great uncle of Julius Caesar, who won a civil war and was named Rome's dictator in 46 BCE. He was without a son and he needed an heir. So he adopted, so Caesar actually adopted Octavian, which is Augustus. He was named Augustus at birth. And when Caesar actually adopted him, he changed his name to Octavian. And then 26 BCE, the Roman Senate renamed him Augustus. So after Caesar was murdered in 44 BCE, Augustus formed alliances and fought bloody battles to win control of the empire. And he persuaded the Senate that he ruled according to the traditions of the Republic. And in fact, he held all power. So when a ruler holds all power, we call that absolute power. So his long reign as emperor was prosperous and it was peaceful. So there were no wars or battles going on during Augustus's reign. So next comes in Tiberius. So he is the stepson of Augustus. He becomes a monarch. So we go from emperor to monarch. So we know a monarchy is ruled by a king or queen. He passed a law stating that the emperor had nearly total power. So as I stated in previous, call that absolute power. So his succession was a serious problem, and members of the imperial family schemed to kill Tiberius. And sometimes the Roman army made the decision. Sometimes we call that a coup d'etat. So what is the difference between an empire and a republic? So an empire is a state containing several countries or territories, while a republic is a form of government in which citizens have the right to vote and elect officials. So there's like republic, power to the people through voting. Empire is state ownership or state power. Not just that territory, but other smaller territories within it. So what was the Pax Romana? So Augustus's rule began a long period of peace and prosperity. Pax Romana means Roman peace. So it lasted from 30 BCE to 180 CE. So essentially it's just Roman peace during Augustus's rule. So that's essentially what that means. We kind of move on here. So Roman Empire in 1800, 118 CE. So as you can see in the yellow, as you see here, this was the Roman territory by 44 BCE. And then this is the territory that was added in 14 CE. So now we're adding Egypt. Now we're adding parts of the Middle East. So the Middle East is all, we consider this to be part of the Middle East. Northern Africa and Eastern Asia. Okay. And then the purple is now was added. So anything highlighted in a color like yellow, green, and purple was part of the Roman Empire. As you can see, if you look at in the global view, you can see a good chunk of the Middle East right here, a good part of Europe, and even a little bit of Asia becomes that. All right. So keep in mind about the Byzantium. This becomes a huge part after Rome falls. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Rome does fall. And if you see up in Britain, they also had part of Britain. Wow. So that's pretty kind of telling that Rome was actually able to capture Britain. They were actually kind of colonized a little bit. All right. So let's move on here. So Rome's achievements. So Roman roads linked the empire. They had over 50,000 miles of roads. So remember we learned about in Christianity, Roman roads, the building of these roads actually helped spread Christianity. So they linked the empire, and because of these vast amounts of long roads, we are not only spread Christianity or religion, but also, as we learn a little bit later, we're able to have bigger trade. So next on to Roman architecture. So they used concrete, which was a material made by mixing cement. So concrete is like, when you're walking on the sidewalk, that's considered concrete. They would build large structures covered with domes. They built bridges. They had aqueducts to transport water. And an aqueduct is a channel that moves water over land. So what was the impact of the Romans on the environment? So because of this, now we have the expansion of architecture or agriculture. So before 100 BCE, there's a cooler climate, and then Roman farming and grazing generated small amounts of methane. Methane is just a gas that is highly flammable. And then after 100 BCE, now we have a warmer climate, and now we're able to farm more. And because farming more, now we have a source of food for people, and as you can see, cattle, sheep. All right, so now we have this growth of metalworking. So small numbers of tools and weapons require burning wood that produce some methane gas. So we needed fire to heat up that metal to form it into tools of agriculture or battle. Okay, and we all know fire. They made tools and weapons requiring burning much more wood and released far more methane. So we learned about fire and why fire was a big thing for civilizations, right? As a source of heat, cook food, scare off big animals, things of that nature. We learned that earlier in the school year. So now all those sources of fire and the reasons why early civilizations used fire actually comes back now in the Roman Empire. All right. So trade in the Roman economy. So roads were built for military purposes now. And now they became a method to trade goods. Cities now became centers of industry and commerce, or we also known as trade. Piracy becomes a problem, but Rome cleared the area of pirates, making trade by sea easier and faster. They traded grain, wine, olive oil, and pottery across the empire. So this grain, wine, and olive oil are key ingredients to what make pasta. Pasta is one of my favorite foods. And now they're using these items or these ingredients to make pasta. Farming was the base of the Roman economy. They built temples, theaters, and baths. All right, so baths were like one of the most famous things in ancient or Rome. And then temples and theaters are key because we know in cultures, especially in Christianity and Judaism, they built a lot of temples because we now have this spread of Christianity. And now that you have a spread of Christianity, now you need a place of worship. Craftsmen made cloth, glass, pottery, metalwork, and ships. The construction industry supplied marble, terracotta tiles, and lead plumbing pipes. And now there's a stable currency, making it easier to trace. So currency is like nickels, dimes, pennies, quarters, cash. Okay. And so that really concludes the Roman Empire and how it started. So if you have any questions about how the Roman Empire begins, please feel free to email me or, be a part of office hours, and I'll be happy to assist you. And I hope you enjoyed how the Roman Empire begins. Next week, we will learn about, certain culture, learn more about culture, and then into the fall of Rome, which is so sad. So we'll learn about that, and I hope you enjoy this, and see you next time.